Okay, can you hear me, Jody and Eva?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Excellent. All right. I see people are joining in the webinar. Yay! Hi, everyone. So we're going to take a couple minutes and that everybody trickling in. All right. So in the meantime, feel free to say hi, either on the Q&A or chat, right? If you have been to my webinar, great. It's good to see you again. Oh, someone just said that, hey, I saw you at CM World. Okay. Yay! Thank you for coming. While we are waiting everybody to join, I also want to introduce Jody and Eva. All right, girls, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
It's going to be casual, right? So, well, we are going to give another minute to get everybody to join and the party. Feel free to grab, a drink, right? And then sit back and relax. Okay. So, Amy, nice to see you again. We met in February. Yes, we did. Hey, Jennifer. Yes. You took my WVU class. I remember you vividly. So thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Okay, very, very good. And like I said, you have been to my webinar. Great, welcome back. If this is the first time, introduce yourself. We'd love to have you. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. I'm gonna share my screen and Jody and Eva, you can tell me if you can see my screen. So let's see which one. Right here. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yep, we can see it.
All right, I'm gonna put on the presentation mode. Is that good? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna get started. There are a couple things. First one, if you have any questions, feel free to ask on the Q&A or chat. Jody and Eva will monitor on both of them. And Jody and Eva will make a judgment call. If the questions are relevant or multiple people are asking similar questions, and they will basically dive in and then share and tell me the questions, and I will answer that. Okay. And if not, and you have a specific questions, I can, unfortunately, like to multitask to actually do the presentation and also answer your question at the same time. So I'm gonna let them moderate, and if there's a specific question I didn't get to it, and you are very, very passionate about and would like to get my thoughts and the feedback, you can always reach out to me at hello@pamdidner.com, right? Or any social media channel. So let's get started very quickly. First of all, welcome. If you came to my last webinar, I got Robert Downey Jr. to welcome you. And this time around, all right, Beyonce, right? Seriously. Look at how sexy she is. She looks great. I love her. So welcome, welcome, welcome. With that being said, a quick intro about myself, right? Pam Didner right here. And I'm a B2B marketer, and I help marketing people to accelerate their contribution to sales. And how do I do that? Through content marketing, account-based marketing, and sales enablement. And I do tons of speaking, and I also do a lot of private enterprise level trainings and also planning sessions. If there's a need for that, great, reach out to me. And I also do a lot of consulting projects. I'm in the trenches with all my clients and to get things done. Set up a processes, or evaluate their MarTech stacks, whatever is needed to build the sales and the marketing alignment. And I wrote 3 books. One is called Global Content Marketing, How to Scale Content Across Regions. The other one is Effective Sales Enablement, How to Enable Sales Team as a Marketer. And the last book I wrote is a short ebook, A Modern AI Marketer. It's looking to artificial intelligence and how does that impact the overall marketing landscape. So if you are interested in any of these topics, check the books out. All right. So that's a very quick intro. Today, we'll conclude what I called the monthly webinar of strategic thinking strategically series. So I started doing webinar, I would say early this year, and this will be the 6th webinar I'm doing. I started and looking into, okay, how can I create a webinar that have a certain kind of theme, right? So starting in May, I was thinking, hey, I can start creating a specific topic, a topic that many marketers care about is think strategically, how to think strategically. And that topic comes up quite often when I mentor marketing managers. So I want to talk about some of my thoughts and also a specific field related to marketing and sales. How do you think strategically? A lot of time it has something to do with planning. So in May, I talk about how to change your marketing plan. In June, 7 key elements you should include in your marketing plan. July, how to create and deliver impressive online presentation to senior managers. And I conclude this series with today, how to sharpen your strategic thinking skills. And I come to realize actually multiple people reaching out to me, they are not even marketers, but they signed up for this specific webinar because the topic was very, very broad, how to sharpen your strategic thinking skills. So this specific topic, not just apply to the sales and the marketing people, which is who are my primary audience, but they also apply to students. They also apply to teachers. They also apply that, you know, other professions. So for today, I actually changed my presentation completely because multiple people reach out to me and say, by the way, I'm not in the sales and marketing field. How can, will your webinar still apply to me? And I say yes. And I say yes without thinking. And then I was like, oh my God, I need to change my presentation. So here we are, it's all good. And I'm looking ahead. Jody, Lisa, Eva, which is my team, they are fantastic. We are looking ahead for the next 3 months until pretty much the end of the year. What are some of the webinar topics we will talk about? And for the next 3 months, September, October, November, we are going to focus on sales and marketing alignments. So it's very, very specific and targeted. It's really about sales and the marketing alignments. How can marketing support sales in a changing environment? And how can we expand the content marketing to the sales side? In November, which is many of you are looking ahead to create your marketing plan for 2021. So I want to touch in terms of how to create a measurable marketing strategy. With that, we are looking ahead. We are looking beyond 2020. And in January, we are literally just thinking right now a topic about career development. If you have any topic that you want me to address, I'm not saying I know everything, that's not my point. If there are specific topics that you have in mind, please let me know. Write it down in the Q&A and chat, and we will have a discussion internally, right? How to sharpen your strategic thinking skills. There are 3 things I want to cover today. One is I want to define what strategic thinking is, okay? Then use that definition to talk about what you can do. The second thing is I want you to think about your mindset needs to change. And there's a couple of things I want to touch. And then the next thing is, what are a couple of things you can do to sharpen your strategic thinking skills, right? I have a specific request, okay? I want you to practice active listening, okay? That doesn't mean that, oh my God, you have to sit like this to listen. That's not the point. The point is I want you to listen what I have to say and then think through what part of it can apply to you now. You know, the other thing, when I say something, you're like, that doesn't apply to me. Great, that's active listening. But if I say something, it was like, you know what? I can probably do that in my job or in the situation I'm running into right now, right? So I want you to practice active listening and then make an effort to connect what I said with what you are doing at this point. It can be on the professional front. It can also be on the personal front, right? All right, when we are thinking about strategic thinking or the skill set, a lot of time when people are thinking, oh, you need to be a strategic thinker, we tend to think like people who are policymakers, and we tend to think the senior executives who are CEOs or VP of sales or marketing, right? They are the one need to think strategically. No, not us. That's not necessarily true. In today's world, which is incredibly complicated, actually everybody needs to have that strategic thinking capability to maneuver in this complexity of the world that we're in, both in the digital front and also offline. Okay. And I have come to realize that strategic thinking, what is the definition? What does that mean, that to think strategically, right? So I start looking the definition, and I'm looking, and these are the three I found on Google, when I do a Google search. Strategic thinking means asking, are we doing the right things? All right, okay. Well, strategic thinking means analyzing opportunities and the problems and taking a broad perspective, anticipating the potential impact your actions might have on your unit, and others. And strategic equals high value and important. And thinking means analyze and conceive the decision. Have you noticed that everything they say right here is incredibly abstract? Are we doing the right thing? Well, what is, unless the right means, you have a certain value, right? Be honest and don't cheat on others. The right can be absolute black and white. But the right thing for one division or one business unit may not be the priority for another business unit. Does that make sense? So are we doing the right thing? That sounds very abstract. And another one is taking a broad perspective. What does that even mean, that I have to take a broad perspective, right? And strategic of high value and importance. What is the definition of high value and important? By dollar value? Or by like looking for a different jobs, the happiness, right? So the strategic definition or the thinking definition needs to be crystallized. And here is what I would define it. Strategic thinking, okay, in the context of this webinar, is a thinking process applied to you in the context of achieving a goal. That's it. That's it, right? It's very concrete. You need to think it through, and you are doing something to go somewhere, right? You need to find what is the optimal route to get to the final destination. That's really strategic thinking. And if with that definition, if you think about it, you can actually apply that to almost everything you do on a daily basis. But I want to talk about the details that's involved, like to follow or to guide your thinking approach. So that's the key core or the essence of today's webinar, is that thinking approach or the steps that you can take. So with that definitions, here's are the 6 elements I want to talk about. And I have a specific examples. So that's just walk through this. The first one is you need to articulate your goals clearly. Then once you have that done, you research and identify options. You analyze the options and the risk objectively. Once you did the analysis, you can decide what are the options or the course of actions you want to take. Then you implement that. You adapt and adjust along the way. You're like, Pam, seriously? I know this. Really? Do you? Let's talk about this. First 2 things I want to cover is articulate your goals clearly and doing the research, identify options, okay? So I know there are many people that calling into the webinar. A lot of you are not sales and marketing professionals. So I made an effort to talk about 2 different scenarios. One is more on personal level, the other one is more on the business front, okay? So on the personal level, maybe your goal is I want to save $50,000 in 2 years. Great. On the business front, it can be, I want to launch the marketing campaigns for this specific product in 7 countries. Nothing wrong with those goals, right? It's very easy to understand. And this tend to be a very common goals for marketing managers, or, on the personal front, you want to save money, you want to do something. How you write your goals will dictate how you think. I want to say that again. How you write your goals will dictate how you think. So if you think about it, if you are writing a goal, I want to save $50,000 in 2 years. So the action or your thinking will be like, I need to save. I need to save, right? I need to save on a monthly basis. I need to save $1,600 a month. But even with that, I can't achieve $50,000. Well, then I need to get a second job, right? So when you write that goal, you focus on savings, right? On the business front, if you said, I want to launch a marketing campaigns for this specific product in 7 countries. So immediately your tactics or the actions that you're going to take is create marketing campaigns for 7 countries. All right, so because it's marketing campaigns, I'm going to focus on email and advertising. Oh, I need to do a website updates, right? However, what if I write the goals differently? Why do I want to save $50,000? Because I want to use that money as a down payment for my first house. Why do I want to launch the product campaigns worldwide? That's because I want to increase revenue. I'm going to increase the revenue by $10 million by launching this product worldwide. When you start writing your goal like this, I like to have $50,000 available to use it for the down payment of my house, or I want to increase the revenue, then your thinking process will be a whole lot more different, right? Now, it's not about savings anymore, right? Saving is one option. Getting the second job is one option. Well, do I need to go to a nice school to get myself certified for certain things? Now, it's not just about saving. I should invest, right? So I can invest and get additional money. Well, because I want to save money, maybe I can sublease one of my rooms in my house. I want to buy my first house. You know what? I always loved my grandma's house. At this point, right, she's to the point that she can't take care of that house anymore. Maybe there's an option, right? So how you write the goals will dictate how you think. This is very critical. That's one big takeaway from this webinar, is how you write your goals, okay? Same thing. When on the business front, if you are writing the goal and say you want to increase the revenue by $10 million, so all of a sudden it's not about marketing campaigns anymore. Yes, they are very important because you are focusing on increasing the revenue by $10 million, which is right here. I point out with my cursor. Guess what? You may need to work with sales team, right? They have a specific target accounts they want to go after. Maybe with those accounts, we can do some sponsorship, right? With those accounts to build that relationship with our existing customers. Because it's a new product, now we probably need to train our sales team so they know what to say about the products. That's messaging. So if you think about it, how you write your goals will dictate in terms of list of ideas that you come up with. And these ideas will actually help you to think a little bit differently, all right? So focus on why when you write the goals, right? Save $50,000, great. But why do you want to save $50,000? Launch marketing campaigns, great. Why do you want to launch marketing campaigns? So do you see the difference in terms of writing your goals? Okay, so that's one. And the way that you write your goal, now this specific statement makes a lot of sense. The way you write your goal will guide your thinking process. Now, with that goal in mind, you can take a much broad perspective and you will explore different options. Does that make sense? So on this specific, strategic thinking slide, and I copy and paste from when I did a quick Google search. They didn't talk about specific steps that you can take. They didn't talk about how you need to crystallize your goal first before you can take a broad perspective. But now, after I explained it, the taking a broad perspective makes a lot of sense, right? Cool. So, listen to Joey, seriously. Spend time to understand why before writing down your goals. Questions? Anybody so far? Jody, Eva, anybody have any specific questions? All good?
No questions.
All right. Am I loud enough? Everybody can hear me? All right, cool. Practice active listening, right now. The next things I want to talk about is once you identify the goal and you have a list of options, okay. Next things that you need to do is to analyze the options. And the key words right here is risks. I mean, if you read books or even reading any kind of blog post or whatnot, it will say, yeah, you know what, when you set up a goal, you should analyze your options. I agree with that, but nobody wants to talk about risks. And I want to touch that on that topic a little bit more. All right, so right here, remember, I talk about your personal goal, your business goal. And I identify a possible option examples that we can take to achieve those goals on the personal front and also on the business front. Now let's look at the results, right? So first of all, you need to do, once you want to save money, you have to conduct a detailed salary and expense analysis, right? How much money you bring in and how much money you spend every single month, trying to get a sense of it, right? And out of that, you will make some decision. The decision is, you know what? In order to save that $50,000, I can't take any vacation, right? I can only eat out once a month. Well, all my families are out of town. Well, guess what? There's no family visit for a little while. With all that, I squeeze every single penny. I can save about $900 a month. Let's just assume that, right? If you do get a second job, now you have a full-time job, but they are not paying a lot. You want to get a second job, and but you work from 8 to 5. Well, maybe you can drive Uber from 5 to 7 a.m., 3 days a week. And frankly, I took I took Lyft extensively when I was traveling. And many people have a full-time job, and at the same time, they also drive Uber. And they only allocate specific amount of time to drive Ubers to get to earn extra money. And one of them actually works at Nike and is a project manager from 8 to 5. And he always get up early, and he was like, after my coffee, I really don't have anything to do. My kids are not up yet. So I just usually go drive Uber from 5 to 7. And it's been doing that like 3 days a week. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, right? So doing that, maybe that can save you $400 a month. Well, you want to actually enhance your earning capability in the future. Maybe you want to go to night school. If you go into a specific type of program, that's going to cost you $7,000. Now you have to do some analysis where you're going to get that $7,000 to start with. Maybe with that, it does increase the salary $400 per month starting when, but you have to think it through. Should we do this? It does take 17.5 months to break even, right? So you invest $7,000. So rather than save, you are going to reduce to negative first before you can save. Does that make sense? How long would that take? Does that make sense? So when you start doing analysis based on the different options, you start thinking through what are some of the criteria that you have to deal with? What are some possibilities? What are some of the issues that you will encounter? That is strategic thinking. Seriously, that's it. You have to think through a different scenarios. So with that being said, same thing, right? Investing in the index funds, so you're going to work with a financial analyst, and the projected rate of return is about 4%. If you actually sublease to one of your bedrooms, should you furnish that, unfurnish that, and that will bring the money in $300 to $500 a month. right? If you decide to buy a grandma's house, can you come up with the solution that you live with your grandma for several years, you take care of her, can that count as a $50,000 down payment, right? So have you noticed those are different options you have to think through? Then you have to do your analysis. A lot of time people stop here before they make a decision. Another thing you have to consider is called risks, right? So let's assume you made a decision, no vacation, ER once a month, and no family visit, and this is how much you can spend. But things happen, life happens, right? Things just happen. God forbid, somebody in your family got very, very sick. You have to fly to take care of him or her. God forbid, you got into a car accident, right? You can't drive Uber anymore, right? So what if things happen like this? What are some of your plan or the backup plan? Let's assume you actually spend $7,000. There's no salary increase whatsoever because recession, right? You invest on the index fund, market crash, you lose everything, right? So you sublease to your best friend, can't make the payment, right? You are taking care of your grandma, but unfortunately, the will didn't get changed. There's a dispute with all the relatives about the ownership of the house. So when you start talking about the results, that looks great, right? But what are the risks associated with it? Write those down and have a discussion. Again, once you start talking about it, it will guide your thinking a little bit differently. That is, again, strategic thinking, right? So this is a business examples, right? Very quickly. You are launching the campaigns. You are working with the country managers very, very closely. And you allocate a budget to run the campaigns, or you allocate a budget for them to run the campaigns, right? So, and you are doing the roadshow worldwide, and you are looking into getting 50,000 people attending to 20 events in 7 countries, right? So now that's the results, right? And you focus on a lot of email and the advertising campaigns and website updates, and you want to get 5,000 marketing qualified leads, right? So they come to your website, and to qualify them for sales to take over, your goal is setting up at 200, right? And working with sales team to support target account, right? When you work with a different account, you want to help them to win a couple of the designs, you call it design wins, right? So, and then you can quantify the projected revenues when you work with accounts, with salespeople directly, right? So here are the couple things. You want to train the sales team. So you want to train the 1,500 sales rep worldwide. Same thing. Now let's look at the risk, right? The risk is one of the country, the political situation is not very stable there. They have a coup. Well, if that happens, how does that impact your overall result? And you are ready to launch, but you got a last minute notification that, sorry, there's a problem with a software update. And also there is the vulnerabilities on our products. We need to fix it. Therefore, we need to delay our product launch. What if you work very, very closely with your design, with your salespeople, but there's nothing? We didn't close any deals for this year, unfortunately, and the deals will come next year. So what are some of the risks that you identify here? And well, you want to actually support, sponsor 10 key customer events. Well, there's event cancellation due to whatever reasons, right? And the Wi-Fi has a massive problem across multiple states, and 80% of the salespeople were not able to complete the training, right? So once you identify the results, you need to also have a discussion in terms of the risks. For each one, if we have those risks, what should we do, right? So that is what ifs. On the personal, what if I couldn't meet my savings goal for 3 months straight? Things just happen. family member got sick, got broken down, and whatever reason. If I couldn't meet my savings goal for 3 months, what should I do, right? On the business front, the marketing campaigns needs to be delayed due to a stock market crash or even COVID-19. Well, when that happened, what should we do? So the best way to cultivate your strategic thinking skills at our level, at the individual's level, is really think through a different possibilities and scenarios. And another thing is be able to talk about the worst case scenario. You know, interesting enough, the second bullet point I want to mention right here, even when I was working for the corporate world, a lot of time, guilty one, I will make a presentation to my management and I will talk about the best case scenario, but I touch very lightly on the worst case scenario because I don't want to look bad, right? The over a period of time, actually now I have more experience, and even on the later part of my job working in the corporate, I tend to spend a lot of time talking about worst case scenarios. Like, what if our company can't meet the revenue target for next quarter? What should we do? How does that impact the overall marketing budget, right? So be able to talk about the worst case scenario honestly and openly is critical. A lot of people try to avoid that. Don't. Okay, you need to talk about it. The other one is execute the best you can, anticipate the worst. So if you analyze the options, analyze the risk, hopefully you can make a decision in terms of, all right, what are the course of action that you want to take. At this point, I'm not going to tell you in terms of how you make a decision, right? So for example, on this, the business examples, and I created analysis, I created the action. Based on my budget, I will prioritize that I will be supporting the sales team. I will be running the the email advertising campaigns and website updates, and I will create marketing campaigns. These are the 3 things I will do. But you will understand and come to realize what decision you're going to make after you have done your analysis, especially on the risk side. Then the decision will somehow come naturally. I'm not kidding. So try to work that process and spend a lot of time on the risk and the results. Once you talk it through, you will kind of know what you need to do. So with that being said, you can document that in terms of decide the course of actions based on your research and the analysis. The one things I want to talk about in terms of decision is you don't know what you don't know. Okay? This is a quote actually from Ronald Rumsfeld, and he was the Secretary of Defense for George W. Bush. And I think at the time, this was happening during the White House briefing. And one of the reporters was asking a specific question about how he made the decision in terms of to initiate a war, you know, one of the countries. And this is his answer. I think this answer might be a little abstract, and he's trying to probably dance around like the real answers, but it actually have the essence and also the meaning to this, and comes down to how we make decisions. As we know, there are known knowns, okay? There are things we know. Okay? We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are something, we just don't know. But there are also unknown unknowns, the ones we don't know. And now didn't talk about, which is a known known. So if you, the known is there is to say that there are some things that we don't know. But what about a known known? A known known is something that you could employ, and the things that you know that you can employ, but you don't realize the value of that things just yet. Does that make sense? So I'm not going to worry about that one, but the things I want to share with you is there are always known unknowns. There are something we just don't know. After we have done all our analysis, There are always something we don't know. That's just the way it is. And there are also unknown unknowns. Case 2 point, COVID-19. The ones we don't know, right? So when you're making a lot of decisions, when you come to make a decision, you need to understand that they are unknowns. Things will always happen. You don't know what that is. You analyze what ifs as much as you can, but you just need to embrace and know. Does that make sense? So I define the strategic thinking as a way to accomplish a goal or solve a problem, right? That's how I defined it. The way that you need to change your mindset is you have to analyze what if, quantify the risks, and also embrace unknowns. There are things will happen, that's just the way it is, okay? Then with that being said, what can you do? Well, what can you do? Actually, it's about implementation. And once you start implementing, you will need to adjust as you go. Okay. And one thing I want to share with you, and nobody is going to talk about this, the biggest part of a strategic thinking is execution. You got to move. Let's go. Once you did all the analysis, right? Strategic thinking is not just, oh, I'm thinking. Yay, that's it. No. The end of strategic thinking and the biggest part is execution. Through execution, you will determine what you can do to make changes and to adapt. On the personal front, you need to start like a Google Doc and a Google Sheet because you want to save $50,000, right? Identify each task that you need to do and just do them one by one, okay? So you need to get a second job to save more. Well, first one, download the Uber app. Attend the online trainings, clean your car, do a test drive, right? If you want to get a second job, write down the stuff that you need to do and do them one by one. Once you got it done, check it off. If you didn't get it done, why? Can you make adjustment to it? Again, strategic thinking. Change your course, take a detour, right? But still moving toward that direction. Same thing, if you want to go to a night school, right, to get certified for plumbing, well, maybe you need to use the $3,000 savings that you have, you need to borrow $4,000. Well, great. Commit to that, start enrollment process, coordinate babysittings, attend classes, take your test. Write down the specific action. If you cannot get something done, right, means, okay, something happened. Well, then you have to think through what needs to be done to change it. Should you abandon this goal or should we do something else? Once you start executing, you start running into problems, you start making adjustments, that's also strategic thinking because things happened and then you find a way to address the issues and keep yourself moving forward toward the goal that you want to accomplish. On the business front, I don't recommend that you create like a Google Sheet and then talk about a specific task, right? On the personal front, it's about getting things done, right? Do one by one, you run into issue, you talk about it, and then take a different course. But on the business front, you take a slightly different perspective. You need to create a high-level slide or a visual to communicate with senior managers and the teams in terms of what you want to accomplish. And then you need to be able to explain the progress or the status, right, in a way the management and the team can understand, right? So like I said, on the personal level, it's a list of things that you have to do one after the other. But on the business front, it's not that. The business front, you need to create a visual that help everybody understand what needs to accomplish first. I love creating high-level visuals like this, right? So you're talking about the whole 2020. What are the specific milestones or tasks that needs to be accomplished so you can launch your products in, say, by September, right? So you list all the milestones, everybody can see it. This also provides and give everybody a idea or a perception, if you will, that you can think strategically, right? You can think strategically at 64,000 foot level, like how everything's tied together. To be able to showcase a slide like this at a high level is a demonstration that you can think strategically because you are connecting different dots. You pull them together and you show people that you understand and you can articulate. All right, so how to sharpen your strategic thinking skill. The first one, when I define the strategic thinking skill, is about accomplish a specific goal or solve a specific problem. The change your mindset is analyze what ifs, understand risks, and embrace unknowns, right? The sharpen the strategic thinking skill, how to sharpen it, it's all about execution. Once you start doing stuff, you will run into problem. Once you run into problem, you will think through in terms of what needs to be done, and you will adapt as you go. And that can help you and sharpen the way you think. Okay. So with that being said, these are the steps I talk about. First one, articulate your goals clearly. That's number one. Okay. Don't just write, I want to save like $50,000. I want to run, New York Marathon. Well, yes, you do want to run New York marathons, but really, why do you want to run that? Okay. Research and identify options, and in terms of what are the options that you can use to accomplish that goals, and analyze the option. Again, focus on the risks, right? Talk about the risk openly and the worst case scenarios. Once you make a decision in terms of what that needs to be done, and understand there's always known unknowns and unknown unknowns, right? Create implementation plan through working through the details, right? And then find a way to remove the barriers as you go, and then adjust along the way. So that's pretty much it in terms of how to think strategically. And I understand this is a very, very abstract topic. And to be honest with you, many people register just because the topic is how to sharpen your strategic thinking. And I've been thinking out often in terms of how I can apply and make it concrete for all of you, right? And not just talking about, oh, the vision, the objectives. From my perspective, that's very, very important. But the most important things at the end of the day is execution, and also remove barriers while you execute. So what can I do for you? I'm doing a lot of speaking online now. Nobody travel anymore. So if you are looking for anybody to speak for your virtual events, reach out to me anytime. And I do a lot of mentorings, one-on-one mentorings and the coachings as well, specifically for marketing managers. And if they are looking to actually modify their marketing plans, or how to build a process to work with their teams, and I do a lot of that. And another thing I do is consulting, and I do very much in the content marketing, account-based marketing, and sales enablement in the context of the sales and marketing alignment. Right, so if you have a need for that, reach out as well. You can download this whole presentation in PowerPoint. If you go to my Facebook community, Build Your Marketing Skills to Get Ahead, and then click on units, and you can download directly from unit number 6. If I'm not mistaken, at this point, Jody, you are going to share the link with everybody, right? So
Yeah, it is shared in the chat.
Excellent. So you have to join my Facebook community to get that. But you know what? I actually have people reach out to me and say, I don't have Facebook account. Well, kudos to you. I have a huge respect for people that don't have a Facebook account. Well, if you don't have a Facebook account, you can reach out to me, hello@pamdidner.com. I'm more than happy to send you the whole deck. Like I said, I'm not sending this in PDF. It's a PowerPoint, and you can take it and then use it as you see fit, right? If you want to post any marketing questions, and also you can do it on the Facebook community. I answer everybody's questions myself. So if you have a specific questions, I don't know the answer, I will do a research. If I know the answers, I will respond directly. And by the way, I'm not here to force you to join my Facebook community. And if you don't want to join, no pressure. You can still send me an email, hello@pamdidner.com. And I will more than happy to actually send you the presentation as well. Okay, so don't feel the pressure that you have to join, please. And there's another thing I want to share with you. I know a lot of people actually coming to this session, you are not necessarily a sales and marketing people. I do actually have a mastermind session at 11 o'clock next week and for 1 hour. And you can register and just type bit.ly/capitalize P, Pam, mastermind, capitalize M, master, capitalize mind. You can register. And this is really focused on the business planning, sales, and marketing strategy. Unfortunately, I am not the type of person who can actually help on the personal growth, and I'm not a personal coach. But if you have specific questions related to your sales and marketing plan, and also how to create, say, your a more strategic type of a conversation or communication with your management, and you need some help, you can come to this specific sessions or bring any of your slides with you. I'm more than happy to help out. With that being said, I hope to see you on my Facebook community or the next webinar. And the next webinar is on September 24th. Okay. Very good. That's pretty much the wrap. Any specific questions? Jody? Let's see. Any questions?
There are no questions.
Okay, very good. Excellent. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to my webinar. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.